This is Toledo SymphonyLAB, a behind-the-scenes look at the world of classical music from WGTE Public Media and your Toledo Symphony. I'm Brett Cresswell, and joining me in the studio today are the Toledo Symphony's music director, Alain Trudel, TSO president and CEO Zach Vassar, principal second violin and artistic administrator Merwin Sue, and the TSO's director of marketing, Vanessa Gardner. Now, I have a fanfare to get us started in case you don't know what it's about. It is a celebration of our 200th episode. Can you believe it's been 200 years or 200 episodes? Can you believe like we've done 200 episodes already?
I think you have.
200 years. Toledo SymphonyLAB.
Oh, yes. I love it.
200.
Who knew that we were almost as old as the country itself?
Now, this is not, I should make clear that this is not the actual 200th episode.
Yeah, we kind of forgot, didn't we?
This is and when you say we, you mean me. We're actually at our 209th episode, so we're on our way to 300, baby.
I can see it from here.
Yeah, wow. Absolutely.
So,
200th episode.
I did some math. So.
Yeah, right. Okay.
No, I said math.
All right.
I did some math, and with conservative estimates, that means that we have done the show for 142.8 hours.
Wow.
Which equates to just shy of 6 entire days of SymphonyLAB.
Can you imagine the 4 of us or the 5 of us? See, I'm bad at math. The 5 of us stuck in a room for 6 days straight.
Yeah.
Wow.
It kind of sounds like this.
Yeah. That's a good experiment, though.
Yeah.
You know, we can have our guests.
On the 7th day, there was light.
Yes, something like that.
Yeah.
Well, I thought, we do this whole thing with people telling their story, right? So we're going to do like a tag team version of the SymphonyLAB story. Well, basically, we'll see where it goes. I've got a little music for us. Let me pull this up.
Is this Downton Abbey?
Sounds like it a little bit. It might drive the narrative.
Do we start all the way at the beginning?
Well, that's up to you. Why don't you start, Vanessa? We'll go around the room.
Wait, are we talking about how the show was born or how we got to the show?
Yeah, basically both. I mean, you can say whatever. You just pick up whatever the first person says and run with it.
I remember when the concept was born.
Well, why don't we start with you then?
I was sitting with Marlon Kaiser. We were in the lobby of what is now the Toledo Hiltons, but back then was the Radisson Park Inn or something. And we were coming from Rotary, and we sat in these 2 chairs on Summit Street, and we talked about how to use public media to tell the story of a symphony, and this came up. And I remember going to Merwin and talking about having, what would happen if we did a show every week. And I remember Merwin saying,
I started swearing at him profusely.
Yeah. Well, I ducked the first 4 things he threw at me. But then I told him that there would be a quiz and that he could show off his intelligence, and he was hooked at the beginning.
Yeah.
No, but I remember, Merwin, you said to me, and I think we've parroted this a couple times, but you said what appeals to you about the concept is being able to speak directly to our audience.
Yeah.
For 142.8 hours.
6 days trapped in a room. Yeah. Let's pass it over to Merwin now.
Well, I think that one of the things that's been so enjoyable is to allow people kind of a peek behind the curtain, a chance to get to know the personalities of our musicians, our staff members, some of our special guests. And I think there's some times where we're really not able to interact with the soloists or guest conductors as much as we would like as people. They're almost like we get to know them very well as musicians, but it's really fascinating to be able to kind of, hear about the person behind the music, and I think those are some of my favorite memories.
Yeah, totally. Vanessa, we were already in place at the time that you came, but what was your first thought as a marketing person when they told you, oh, yeah, we also have this podcast show that airs on the radio. We want you to be a guest. I mean, what were you thinking at that time?
I never thought that my nickname would be Doug.
Okay, you just spoiled my first question on the quiz. All right.
I have to go back into the archives.
Yeah.
I echo Merwin's sentiments. I love being able to talk to the guest artists and hear, especially when we have living composers on the show. I love hearing about their process and
That's another question ruined right there. Okay. Let's pass it to Elaine because Elaine.
Spoiler alerts are.
I'm enjoying. What I really enjoy is the improvisatory nature of our quizzes,
Yes.
as questions tumble like card castles.
Yeah, and that's why you always win, right? Elaine, I mean, it must have been, from your perspective and being in Canada and with the pandemic, and this had to have been a great way for you to reach out to your public.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there are two facets to my answer. You said one of them, and that was very important during the pandemic. Before getting into that, I think for me, yes, it's great to talk with the guest soloist, the guest artist. But as I saw with the years that pass, I see a lot of people, like I go to the grocery store or something, and they say, "Oh, we're listening to you in the podcast. It was really nice." So I feel that we're very close to our public, and that's any way we can have to communicate more about what it is that we try to provide to our community. To try to bring to people that, because we sit together in rooms, often without windows, and talking about these great projects that we like to share with people, because music is communication, and what we do is the arts. We try to communicate what's good in life, what's not just beautiful but meaningful. And we've lived difficult things with COVID, things with war, and it's not the most beautiful of the human. So we try to bring some joy in people's life and all that. And classical music is for us is very well known, right? Because that's what we do. But in the world in general, we can still, we need to make a big efforts to reach out to as many people as possible.
Yeah.
And this really helps, because then, I would never see people at the store that would talk to me about the broadcast, even if it's the broadcast of the show, or if they came to the show, the concerts. I mean, it's different. But people who listen to this, like we go into their homes. It's like they're with us, and during their life, they're at their moment where they're doing other things. They're folding laundry or whatever. They're listening there in their car, and they're listening to what we're talking about. So I feel a great responsibility when I have an opportunity to talk about what we do, what we've prepared. It's like, when you talk to a cook, a great chef, and he said, well, we've prepared this incredible meal for you. So it gives us a chance to do
You're
that.
making me hungry.
Yeah, and the second part is, well, that's the idea. We want to make them salive a little bit and then come to the concert. But the other part was during COVID. For me, it was a lifesaver, because I missed everybody so much. And it was a way to stay connected. It was a way to talk about the projects and to reassure everybody that I was just, the minute I could be back, I would be back. And that's personal more, though. That's right. Something that was really important for me. So
that was an unexpected benefit, obviously.
Absolutely.
Of doing the program together. And then, the whole mission of what we do here is to invite people to go to the next level by attending a live performance. Which was derailed for a while by COVID, but we're back doing that now, and that is what what this show is all about. But having fun while doing it, right? and showing that people can have fun and still be classical music fans at the same time.
Well, we're very serious in what we do, but we don't take ourselves seriously. It's like you can do what you do very seriously.
Though.
Yeah. but it's important to know. I mean, it's different, right? And sometimes we've had, not us, but in the classical music world, there was a little bit of people shot themselves in the foot a little bit by looking so serious, because what they do is serious. But at the same time, you don't need to have a face like you're mad at somebody on your poster because you're playing Beethoven.
You don't.
No, you don't.
Yeah,
So it's a good thing to change that.
Have you seen those Instagram filters that add a smile to people's faces, so they get all these composers that are
Yes, I
like
do.
Beethoven
Grinning
and Chopin,
hilariously,
and put the smile on them? Yeah, I'm sure
Put
they
on
must
a-
have smiled at one time or other in their lives.
It just wasn't a time that you were painted as such, though.
Right.
Yeah.
Your
Right.
merriment existed, but we were very serious in our portraits, right?
That was the custom in those days. Well, it is just a few days before Christmas, and I wonder, we usually do a Christmas episode. We're kind of focusing on the 200th episode for this instead of on Christmas. But anybody got any fun plans coming up? Anything you want to talk about Christmas related? We do want to wish our Jewish friends happy Hanukkah as well, because that's going on right now. And, we wish them happy Hanukkah. We wish everybody else Merry Christmas. If you don't celebrate anything, we wish you a wonderful December.
Well, there are just so many wonderful holidays that are being celebrated by the diversity of our region. And so,
Yeah.
I mean, as much as, people do celebrate Christmas and Hanukkah, it extends beyond that. I think Diwali was earlier this year, but there, Kwanzaa.
There's
as
Kwanzaa,
well.
yeah.
But I think that
Krampus.
maybe that's less of a celebration per
Okay.
se. My understanding of Krampus may be a little superficial, but it is something that I think that one of the things that in a time of year when there is less brightness, less physical brightness, it's wonderful that so many people throughout the world have found ways to celebrating and celebrate the light. So I think that's something that we're just glad to be able to be a small part of that through this season.
You also have a family and 2 little boys at home, and nothing brings out the wonder of the season like having children around. Which brings me to you, Vanessa.
Wait a second.
Yeah, what's going on with you with the holidays this year?
Hopefully, absolutely nothing. I might have some family visiting, but honestly, this will be a time to just catch up on some rest and relax and be in my warm home and be thankful for the year that we've just accomplished and look ahead to next year.
Yeah, totally.
And rebuild a website.
What do you think, Elaine?
I have to say that Vanessa, for us, is a little bit like Atlas, like with the world like this. And, so especially the last little while, I mean, she's been...
And that makes me Sisyphus, right?
No, but she's been
That's enough rock music for this conversation.
I totally understand that it's going to be much deserved a little break for you there. Oh la la. Yeah. From my side, as I have 4 children, so all of very different ages. So we have celebrate differently a little bit. Traditionally, we've been celebrating on 23rd to get away from all the craziness right around
that's
Christmas.
just a family thing for
It's
you.
just
That's
a
not-
family thing.
It's not like Canadian Christmas.
No, it's not Canadian Christmas.
That's in
Okay.
October.
December
Nice.
25th exchange rate.
Exactly.
Very nice.
Believe it or not, we're probably with Madeleine and I will probably go see Nutcracker again. 'Cause, although I conducted a lot, I never got enough of it. So it puts us on the spirit. It's funny. The other night, Madeleine was going to bed. And she said, "Papa," I said, What do you like about Christmas? What do you like? And I was sitting next to her. I said, you know what? I said, I like you. I said, I like my kids and I like the Christmas music. Yeah. And then she really wanted to go to bed with one of those Frank Sinatra Christmas albums. So and I thought of Zach. Because you told me
I
the
only
other
have
day.
a Mahler bell. I don't have a Frankie bell.
It works too.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, so family and music, still music, always music, but family and music basically.
Zach, what's up with you guys? You have 2 little girls at home.
Got 2 girls at home. So
you have 3.
well,
you have 3 girls at home, but 2 little girls
so,
at home.
yes. So we'll be here this year, and I always love the opportunity to stay put. I love going to Oregon every other year for Christmas. There's some wonderful holiday traditions that happen there. Last year we got to go sledding, and it was a very white Oregon Christmas. But as Vanessa said, being home and cozy is also extremely nice. We have a lame Christmas tree. That has never consumed an ounce of water since we brought it home at the beginning of the month.
Is this like the Charlie Brown Christmas tree? You remember that?
I was talking to Keith McWaters about it, and he said he had a tree one year that he had to tie up to the wall because it kept falling over. So mine is not far away from that.
A little duct tape won't fix, right?
Basically lost all of its needles. If you look at it funny, it sheds the rest of the needles. And so it's kind of like the spirit of Christmas is imagining how beautiful this thing used to look. And Santa has a "Do not pass this area of the room" sign.
It's like caution
like
tape.
yellow tape, yeah.
Right.
Police tape.
He puts anything underneath the tree, it will combust. So it's our own silly thing. But I love this time of year for the music, of course, and gosh, I'm such a sap, and the nostalgia just hits me so hard this time of year. And I'll hear a song on the radio or on a playlist or something. It just literally transports you back.
Yeah,
30 years. Every time I hear the "Do They Know It's Christmas Time?" I remember my sisters playing that and playing it again and playing it for another hour and another hour after that and another hour after
for
that.
142.
That's right.
6 days straight.
But I remember the B-side of that album had holiday greetings from all of the singers and bands of the 80s. And
it's like the record that went into space.
Yeah.
The Carl Sagan album.
Continues on.
The golden record, yeah.
Except no Glenn Gould on this one.
Yeah.
So, but it's very special. I'm a big sap for all this stuff, and it's a very special time of year.
It's true. He cried at Nutcracker rehearsal.
Oh.
I did. That's
just at rehearsal.
What else we want to talk about?
That's left over from our jazz orchestra episode that we did. Well, let's talk about our favorite moments, right? We generally do this every time we hit a milestone, where we talk about our favorite moments in the show, right? Not in your life, because that's more of a New Year's type thing, and we'll save that for later. But favorite episodes or favorite guests or favorite stories that you or somebody else told. I want to start with something a little different, though. I want you to choose your favorite soundboard clip, okay?
Oh, that's easy.
Yeah, because I have a soundboard here. I use most of them, but some of them I haven't used so much. So, Vanessa, since you said it was easy, which one are you going for?
My absolute favorite soundboard clip is the one of Madeline saying, "You can do better."
Guys, we can do better than that.
and we use that at the office all the time with the pause for effect.
You know those little keychains that have the buttons on them, and every button you hit is a different quote. You have to get Madeline to record all those.
Yeah, or we should get like what's the smart button?
Oh,
what's it
yeah.
called?
Yeah.
Smart button.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I second that one. That was actually my choice too, because and I mean, it may be other people's choice too. I don't know. We'll see which one wins. But I love the fact that we can do better, and there's a pause, and then she says, "Then that."
Yeah,
right?
there's a little
Guys,
judgment.
we can do better than that.
It's in my mind, and of course the funny thing, she doesn't sound like this anymore.
No.
She's a little kid in this.
She sounds like this now.
Yeah.
Well, I can slow it down, maybe.
No, it's just so funny though, because there's this point that guys, we can do better, and then she looks to the left and looks to the right at the surroundings, and it's like, then that. It just makes me laugh so hard that I have not been able to please this child.
But then there's the follow up, right?
Yeah.
Which is where she says, "Good job."
Good job, guys.
Yeah.
which we also use in the office.
It's
on a
very
regular
true.
basis.
It's very true.
So,
Yeah, excellent. But it's not the same unless you have the actual clip there that you
it's
can
really
play.
not. No.
Yeah. Elaine, do you have any favorites besides your daughter?
Well, I didn't want to go into a nepotism, so I did. I didn't use that one. No, my favorite, of course, is the Mahler bell.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah, the Mahler bell, which we can explain that every time somebody says the word Mahler,
An angel gets its wings.
an angel gets its wings. Yeah. And the Mahler bell rings. It doesn't count if you're talking about the Mahler bell. Like when you put those words together, it doesn't count as having to be accompanied by a Mahler,
bell. Otherwise,
right?
it never stops.
Yeah, no, it never stops. As long as you say it's a Mahler bell, right?
I mean, he has cowbells in the Sixth Symphony. Yeah. Does he have bells? I mean, he has chimes.
I think he always wanted to have more cowbell.
And yes, I knew that was coming.
Yeah,
I knew that was coming.
So, but
What
does he
about
have
you?
a bell? Like, does he use a bell? Like, I'm thinking about the fantastic bells. Like in the Eighth Symphony, is there a bell? I'm trying to think. No?
I don't know.
Church bells.
I
All
don't-
right.
I use a boxing bell
Yeah.
for the sound effect.
Yeah, we'll just add that to the percussion section.
Yeah.
Well, 10 symphonies, 10 rounds. It's okay.
10-ish.
Definitely. Zach, do you have any favorites besides what we've already covered?
So I love that our very first episode, wasn't it our first episode? Maybe not our first episode, but one of our first episodes is when we did the
Goldberg Variations?
Well, that was our
the
first episode. You're exactly right, but it was soon thereafter that we had Bob Clemens in,
Oh,
and we
right.
did the
West Side Story.
No, he did
No.
the
No.
Beethoven
Oh,
Eroica
yes.
Symphony.
You're
scratch
right,
out
yeah.
the
Yeah. That was the peak of our show. It was like episode number 2, I think.
But that's where the yay and the apathetic yay come from.
Oh, yeah.
So it's still there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here's one. Whoops.
Nope.
That's just applause.
That's it.
There's that one. And then there's also this one.
Yay!
Which I also use.
Yeah, it
at
also
the
comes into the office. So
We
just,
run
you
the
know,
whole gamut
be
of
proud of
emotions.
yourself, Cresswell. This little
Yeah.
soundboard you terrorize us with has had all of the effects that you ever desired.
Absolutely. And more. What do you say, Merwin? Did you pick one yet? No.
Well, this has not pervaded our organizational culture quite as much, but I do think it's appropriate that we have our very own sad trombone.
All right. We have 2 sad trombones.
I like the original octave one.
But you know I got to
The
play
new
the
one,
other
the new one is a little
Disturbing.
It's a little new Coke to me.
No,
I
it's called the really sad trombone, okay?
That is not okay.
Yeah. Nobody picked this one.
Yeah,
guess-
I wonder why.
Yeah, that just gives us PTSD of all the quizzes we've lost.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
To Merlin.
Brad, how about
Speaking
you? I
of
mean,
which-
you're the one who uses this
Well, I said
for
I,
all except one episode when you let me use it and I couldn't figure out how to use it.
I don't even remember that.
It was a Mahler quiz that
Yeah.
I was able to write,
Oh, okay.
and
You're going to hold me to it.
so you made me write a quiz, or you gave me the opportunity to write the quiz on Mahler, and I was very excited about this. And then I had to run your board, and I think I got all the yays and the.
Okay, if
completely
I had
backwards.
to choose one besides the 2 that came from Madeline, I'd choose this one. Right? But people, you have to explain what that is. You know what that is.
When I wake
right?
up in the morning.
I know.
That's
When I
Elaine
wake up.
discovering that there's no coffee in the building.
know
Actually, you
it's
don't
gonna
drink
be-
coffee,
No,
right?
I do not.
That's when he wakes up and he finds out there's coffee in the building.
Totally. That's the Wilhelm scream. You
Yeah.
hear it in all kinds of movies.
Where
and
did that
films.
come from? Was it a Halloween episode?
It was a guy named Wilhelm.
Well, I know,
that-
but how did it
was
get
in a
into our
movie?
show?
It was in a movie, and then for some reason the whole movie fell out of copyright, and so people started using that scream and everything, and pretty soon it became just a fixture, a traditional fixture.
But why is it on
Why
the
is it on
board?
our show?
Oh, because it's famous. The Wilhelm scream. I mean, everybody has to scream sometime, so
My
you know.
brother is really, really good at picking it out in films.
Yeah.
In every film, if we're watching something together and it happens, he pauses it and goes back and makes me.
Well, listen, once you hear it, right? you start hearing it everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the power of the soundboard, my friend.
Also
right
at the
there.
office.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think we have that one at the office.
That's another one.
There are
that
far
has
too
to
few pin cushions. Yeah.
go on the Toledo SymphonyLAB
Yeah.
audio keychain. Definitely.
Is
Well-
that like a support WGTE and you get
Yes, it's
your very own
a
soundboard?
premium. Yeah, we're going to pass that out to folks who give us money.
You can choose the tote bag or the keychain.
Yes, that's a great idea. I'm going to steal it.
Go for it.
Actually, I had that idea.
I
No,
think-
you had the idea. Okay.
You know, I think you should do it. You will sell tens.
Yes. Tens of tens, maybe. Okay, let's do a quiz. I do have a quiz for us, and I even have quiz music, right?
Yeah, it goes.
Let's see if this is my. Let's
the
see
quiz
if the quiz
music.
music is my least favorite soundboard sound. Okay, no, that's not it.
Is it okay so far?
We're not going to future up this quiz at all.
Okay.
Is this a write it down quiz or a say it out loud?
No,
quiz?
it's a say it out loud quiz. I don't know what it is.
Okay.
This is a quiz about former episodes of Toledo Symphony
Are you
Lab,
saying
right?
that all of these episodes are like a circus? Is that what that fanfare was supposed to suggest?
This is actually the music for one of the shows that I did with Elaine alone when you guys weren't
yeah.
here.
I remember
Right,
that episode.
we
That was
used
a good
that.
episode.
That gladiator
Yeah,
stuff.
who was the guest that day?
Elaine. He was the only guest that day.
Is that question number 10?
No. Okay, but you know the answer to this one already. In our first episode with Vanessa, which was by phone, it was called Welcome Vanessa.
Mm-hmm.
What did we learn was Vanessa's nickname?
Dog.
Doug,
No,
yes.
that is incorrect.
Oh, did I get it wrong? Wait, what is your
No,
nickname?
you guys nicknamed me Doug, but that was not
No, it's
my
correct.
known nickname.
No, we weren't allowed to
What
use it.
is your
We
known
made us swear
nickname?
never to
My
use it.
nickname that my dad used to call me is Weasel.
Mhm.
But you guys
That's right. I remember
You
now.
guys
Weasel.
assigned Doug
Mhm.
because I was talking about my love of dogs.
Yep.
Yes.
As much as Doug the dog loves squirrels, if you followed
Yeah,
that.
it's
Oh.
I should give the wrong answer more often because we learn something new.
Yeah.
good thing you're in communications.
Yes,
It
totally.
was totally clear.
All right. Well, I'm glad that you cleared that up. We'll give a point to Vanessa, definitely. Okay, in our Halloween show from 2020, which was, by the way, Vanessa's first appearance in the studio. Right?
2020.
Yeah. And,
Okay.
and what did you each say was your favorite Halloween creature / spirit animal? Merwin, what did you say? Do you remember?
I have no idea.
I'll give you a hint. Its name is Fluffy. Does that ring a bell?
It does, but it's a very distant bell, has nothing to do with the Mahler bell. But, no, this...
You did say it. Yeah,
Halloween creature? I
the
remember-
three-headed dog from Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Zach, what did you talk about?
My
Do you
spirit
remember?
animal is a penguin, of course.
Well, that's not what I have here, but
I said- I
you had
figured
a
if I-
recurring nightmare in childhood.
The hands that would reach up out of the
Yeah.
floor and grab at my ankles.
The green hands.
Green hands, yeah, and a
what was
tuxedo jacket.
The significance of a
Oh, I
green
have no idea.
hand.
It was hell if I know. I'm sorry, heck if I know.
That reminds me of a joke. You know what you get when you cross an elephant with
Elephant
a
and the rhino,
rod?
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. I'll just skip that
Sorry.
one. All right. Anyway, Vanessa, what was your selection? Do you remember?
No, I don't.
It was like a kind of thing.
Kind of thing.
Kind
Are
of
these
thing.
the mice from the Nutcracker? I mean,
No, Dracula or bats. Yeah, you were totally into Dracula. It was only 2020. It wasn't that long ago, guys. Come on.
Dracula.
Elaine, do
So
you remember
much
what
has
you said?
happened.
Because you weren't there.
No, I wasn't there. So,
So what would be your favorite Halloween spirit animal?
oh boy, my favorite.
Or fear,
Or fear.
I guess. Recurring
Yeah.
number.
I don't know fear. I
Fear
don't
is
know.
my middle
Yeah.
name.
Yeah, exactly. No, there's too many to choose from, and I don't know.
Okay, we'll skip the question.
Yeah,
That's
When
a
we
great-
had,
that was a great moment of radio right there.
Yes, indeed.
Exactly. Sorry about
That's
that.
what we do 24/7. Okay, you remember when we had Crystal Bowersox on the program,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Crystal Bowersox. What did she say was the Toledo School for the Arts mascot? She, of
Yeah.
course, is a graduate of
Flying Pig.
Flying pig, yeah.
Yeah, but what did she say?
Oh.
She said it was Her answer was...
Wait, did she get it wrong?
No, she said me.
Oh.
Meaning her. That she
True,
was the
she
mascot.
is on the billboards.
Yeah. And then she corrected it to the flying pig.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. In our show, Strings from the Silver Screen, who was our phone guest?
Enrico Lopez Yanez.
Yeah, the conductor. Yeah.
Very good.
I don't think I was on that episode.
What other episode was Enrico on?
He was on the St. Patrick's episode.
Yeah, Slancha, right?
Slancha.
Yeah. I don't know. I've never figured out how to pronounce that word.
What was Keith's name? Mary McDiddle-Whittle? Or
Well, hang on.
All right.
This is called Pin the Leprechaun Name on the Person, right? So I'm going to give you these leprechaun names, and you tell me who they belong to. Okay. Who was Twitchy McPixie?
That was Keith.
Yeah. That was Keith. Who was Little O' Gold? Little O' Gold.
Was that you?
That was you,
That
Zach.
was me? All right.
Who was Minnie Twinkletoes?
That was me.
That was you. Merwin remembers. Who was Tweedle Greentooth?
That's me.
No, that was me. You have a new one that I assigned to you. And does anybody remember what Enrico's name was, our guest?
I do not.
Weebit Potfiller. Remember?
I feel like that's quite the deep dive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it made me think of like potholes and pothole filler, that kind of thing.
And I'm sure that's what everybody else is thinking too.
Exactly. Anyway, Elaine, you have now a leprechaun name. I looked this up and using the same source.
Mm-hmm.
Your leprechaun name is, and don't get scared of the color here, Zach, Greenie O'Shivers. That is your leprechaun name.
Okay. I could have done the one with the potholes because I'm from Montreal.
That goes with the Weebit pot filler. Okay. In our episode Songs of the Earth, who was the guest and what was her pandemic project?
Susan Platts writing a cookbook about cooking. Yeah.
You sounded like you were going to school. Like, good morning, Mrs. Platts.
Actually, it was amazing.
No, remember we talked about the Mahler strudel or Mahler kugel?
That's two right there. Okay. I knew you would get that one.
No,
that
but the book
pretty
is
easy.
out. It finally was released and published about a month ago or 2 months ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And people can get it when we play Mahler Third Symphony.
Yes. Right. And now, what was her... What is her nom de plume? Like she's something, the baking something or other, the cooking.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
I'll have to check that out. Anyway, Susan Platts. All right. In our episode Best of 2021, what did Vanessa say was her favorite moment of the year? Vanessa, you had two moments that you talked about. One of them you talked about in this particular episode toward the beginning when we started talking about your favorite episodes.
Having Kareem Rustam on the show talking about his piece, Wine Dark Sea.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
It was a wonderful work.
Talking about the percussion elements
Yeah.
and like exploring that sound world. Oh, that was
He
also
had,
the
like,
story.
Pots of water and things on stage. It was so cool.
Well, I mean, it makes a difference when you can talk to the composer about their work,
Well,
right?
but he could talk about it. What I think was so special is that sometimes when you have this conversation with any artist about their craft, they can't untangle it in a narrative way that makes sense to onlookers. Because you talk to a painter, when do you know you're done with the painting? Like, well, I put the pastels on and it just makes a picture, and then it doesn't
run
have
out of
this sort
paint.
of it doesn't have this sort of like creative process that we know exists, but they can't verbalize it. He could.
Yeah.
It was really special.
Well, you know who else can talk about composing that way is Elaine, right? Because you are a composer as well. I mean, we've been fortunate to have composers telling us about their music. One of the other things that you mentioned, Vanessa, was Elaine's return. The return of Elaine.
That was so fun because we got to do
Yeah.
this really funny video, and everybody in the audience laughed and stood up and gave him a big ovation. So that was really fun.
Yeah. Vanessa made a video of me getting out of the car, walking into the peristyle, and then the video would stop and I would appear there. But
I think that was,
music came on.
And I think that was the first time I actually met Elaine in person because he had not been here
Yeah.
Right.
the whole year. And I was like, it's nice to meet you.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
Yeah.
So, and this is, I must have read your mind, Zach, or vice versa.
That's a very scary thing. I'm so sorry.
Here's my next question. In an episode entitled Elaine Alone, who was the special guest? I have it written right there. It's true.
Greenie O'Shea.
Best answer ever. Yes. Greenie O'Shivers Trudell was the guest. Now we're going to focus on Elaine here for a minute. Now, what was the first orchestra Elaine played in after high school? The very first orchestra after high school. At least this is what you told me, Elaine. Yeah. So hopefully it's correct. Does anybody know?
OSM.
OSM, what does that stand
Montreal
for?
Symphony.
Montreal Symphony. Yeah, don't get all Frenchy on me, okay? The Montreal Symphony. Orchestre Symphonique de Montréal, something like that.
Well done.
You got it.
Yeah, in my best French. Okay, now Elaine and I played the game This or That, right? And so I have Elaine's answers here. I'm going to see how they coordinate with you. So we're going to go around and do a flash round, right?
We're trying to guess Elaine's
in a
answer.
Circle.
Yeah,
well, you just tell me your preference,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
And we'll see if they're in line.
Got it.
So you'll get either a buzzer or applause, okay?
Wow. So this is exactly like being in orchestra. We get to have our own opinions, but they're correct only if they align with the conductors.
Exactly. Okay.
Should be right
You
at home.
start, Merwin. Okay. Candy or popcorn?
Candy.
Whoops. Okay.
Wait, actually, I'm getting mixed signals. Elaine seems to be comfortable with candy.
You like candy, Elaine?
Chocolate.
Okay. Well, that's not candy. That's different.
It's a type of candy.
But you answered popcorn.
Yeah, popcorn.
I have to go by what you answer.
Good.
Okay. Vanessa, bath or shower?
Shower.
Wow, you guys are like 0 for 2. Elaine, let me ask you one. Blue or red?
Blue.
Yeah, very good. You got that one. Zach, cake or pie?
Cake.
Always pie.
That was pie. Coke or Pepsi? We'll go to Merwin because I've got all the answers in
Has
front
to
of me.
be Coke.
Coke, yes. Finally, our first yay. Dog or cat, Vanessa?
Cat.
Yeah, very good. Elaine, Facebook or Twitter?
Facebook.
Yes. You remember. Zach, Netflix or YouTube?
Cranberry.
The answer was Netflix. Okay. Merwin, pen or pencil?
For a musician, pencil.
Yeah, totally. Vanessa, toast or eggs?
I feel like we're trying to read his mind as opposed to actually giving our own.
Yeah.
Yep.
What do you prefer, toast or eggs?
Eggs.
Okay, you prefer eggs. Elaine prefers toast. Okay, sneakers or sandals? That goes to you, Elaine.
I have to answer. Okay, with sneakers.
Very good. You remember this.
Yeah.
That's good. Okay, washing clothes or washing dishes? What do you say, Zach? The last one.
Washing dishes.
Because Elaine said he likes them both, right? So there's no wrong answers
Excellent.
with that.
I would much rather wash dishes than fold clothes
yeah.
in my life.
But wasn't
Every
Well,
single
it's
day.
There was
wash
no
clothes.
mention of folding.
That's true. That's very true.
You can just, throw it all together and stick it in the closet as is. Stick it in the drawer. Okay, I do have a bonus question for us to finish out our quiz. When we had Carl Topolo on the show not too long ago, what did he say would be the title of his clarinet playing book?
Don't.
Exactly. That is the answer.
Very good.
That was great.
So that is our quiz celebrating 200 episodes of Toledo SymphonyLAB. I asked you earlier, I said we're going to talk about our favorite shows of the season. And so let's get to that now. Zach, you got a favorite over the past few years?
Yeah. So, I mean, let's just think about what this show does, though. I wrote some thoughts down because, it's the back behind the scenes view that Merwin mentioned earlier. But, this is a chance for our organization to welcome newcomers. We get to, share our strategies and welcome and reveal the people that we work with. That's really special. We get to talk to artists. That's special to us. We get to do that a lot, but it's really nice to do that before they come here. And I know a lot of people listen and hear it the week of a performance, but for us, a lot of times we record these ahead of time. Sorry, spoiler alert. But, it gives us a chance to develop a relationship with somebody that we may not know or may not have seen for a long time, and to talk about things that matter to them that will then be groundwork for a relationship that we'll have, a couple weeks down the road. A lot of people talk about how great it was to have that first introduction to a pretty wide part of the administration. Then when they get here, they can see us and have a better sense for who we are. We can speak very sincerely. We've had some really special episodes where there's the mist of connection that happens. We can also laugh a lot, and I love how much we laugh. But, more than anything else, I love that we have time together. There's not a lot of stuff I do every week. Like, there are a lot of things I'd love to do once a week, but coming in here and sitting down with the four of you is just a great connection every week. And I love that we get to do that. And I am so thankful for all of you and for the sincerity you bring to this. So that's a big part of this episode, this show for me is spending this hour together.
Okay, so what's your favorite?
Yeah, all right. Well, okay, that's an even longer answer. No.
Oh, God.
So of this season, we did the Boo episode for the Halloween episode. We had Bob back in, and we did the Ibsen play.
Oh, right,
Peer Gynt.
Yeah, thank you. Of course, I remember the Ibsen. I remember Peer Gynt. And I got to be Merwin's love object. What was I? It was Mother Gynt. What was that?
I can see it made a big impression on you.
But there were so many moments in that episode where I felt like we had gone off the rails, and how in the world is Brad going to put this into something that will go on the radio? And I listened to it. I was coming back from a meeting, and I had about 45 or 50 minutes in the car, and I drove back to the office, and I got out of the car, and I saw one of our colleagues in the hall, and I said, I just listened to the podcast, and it's hysterical, and I don't know how you did it, but you made a hilarious show out of that.
You were the princess, I believe.
I was the princess.
You were the love interest of Peer Gynt. Who was Peer Gynt? You were Peer Gynt. So you were you were the daughter of Merwin's character, right?
Thanks, Dad. I got daddy issues. That was my favorite. It followed very closely thereafter by Eric Otto's first episode when I said to you, he's a really good cook. He's was almost on a cooking show with Gordon Ramsay, and you bring out all these.
I went whole hog, so to speak. No pun intended.
And I think he got like 2 of the questions right.
Yeah. We had a culinary quiz. He didn't know anything.
Oh man, that's the episode I should have been on.
I felt so bad for him. But a great indication of his character. He handled it beautifully and in stride. It was a hilarious insight into his personality.
Merwin, you want to go? I mean, talk, not leave the room.
So this is definitely an episode that we referenced before, and it's funny because it was one of the answers to your quiz questions. It was Susan Platt's and Songs of the Earth.
Oh yeah,
and it's funny because you said we responded to it like a teacher, but she actually reminded me of one of my all-time favorite teachers, and so. There was something very just so comforting talking to her, and it wasn't so much that it was like a moment of inspiration, but it was this moment of just warmth and just feeling this genuineness that I just was so excited that she was going to come to Toledo and we would get the chance to work with her. So for me, the Susan Platt Mahler Songs of the Earth episode.
Oh, and we get to work with her again this year.
Absolutely.
Mahler again?
Mahler third. Oh.
Well, I have a few favorites actually. I have a one from a long time ago, the West Side Story.
Oh yeah.
I have the Romeo and Juliet from this year. But basically anything that Bob Clements is on, he's so amazing. And I really like the one where we had Christopher Dietz and we talked about composition.
Yeah, that was interesting.
I really liked that one. Yeah, because it was. I like the episodes where we talk. There's lots of information,
Right.
and I think we get a good moment that we can share with the public. You're talking behind the scenes. That's even more behind. It's like before the piece is born.
Yeah.
So that was a lot, and he was great in the interview.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and it's great that we can have people like that come in and talk and share, their story, as it were.
Yeah.
Vanessa, we say the best for last.
Mine's not from this year, but last year when we had Nikki Five Tones.
Oh, yeah.
That was a great episode.
That was when Nick Kendall from Time for Three was on.
Yeah, he was hilarious.
He was great, and it was cool that he recorded his own audio. So
right,
when you,
it sounded like you guys were together.
It sounded like
awesome.
he was in the room.
Mhm.
But I will say that episode won us a Touchstone Award from the Press Club of Toledo. It was that particular episode that they focused on. So, kudos to us and kudos to them for
it's awesome.
being so fun.
Can I share a couple more? And I'll keep this brief. One of my favorite interviews, though, is when we had John Nakamatsu on the first time.
Yeah.
And he was doing all of the, it was an entire program made up of Dies Irae.
Mhm.
Oh, right.
We were talking about, having like the Grim Reaper sign that the audience could put up every time they hear the Dies Irae.
Yeah.
And somebody actually came to the concert hall with a homemade Grim Reaper paddle.
That's amazing.
Nice.
So it shows that, as much fun and silly as it sounds, that was a great moment.
It shows that we have at least one listener.
One listener. But I
Vanessa
also-
is definitely thinking ahead that you're going to use that in the future for a concert. So that is it for our celebration of 200 episodes. We're actually up to 209 now. We still have a ways to go in this season, but we want to thank all of our listeners who have tuned into this program over the years. You definitely are who we are doing all of this for. From all of us to all of you.
Happy holidays.
This program is a production of WGTE Public Media in collaboration with our sponsor, the Toledo Symphony. You can download episodes as a podcast by going to our website at wgte.org/lab. You can also subscribe to us through your podcast app of choice, including Apple, Google, and Spotify podcasts. Don't forget to check out all the upcoming events of the Symphony by visiting their website at toledosymphony.com and their various social media outlets on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can find the TSO streaming platform online at stream.artstoledo.com. My thanks again to Elaine Trudell, Zach Vassar, Merwin Sue, and Vanessa Gardner. I'm Brad Cresswell. This has been Toledo SymphonyLAB from FM 91.